Stay tuned. So today, as per usual, 6 beers, 6 questions. We're going to go through it. I've got 2 beers by Real Ale, 2 by Roughtail, and 2 by Santa Fe Brewing. And a total of 3 IPAs. So really we're doing a versus between 3 different breweries today. See how that goes. Basically ranking the IPA category. Yeah, let's get into it. So first up is the Axis IPA from Real Ale, which again, if you're new to the show, understand that the best I've done so far for Real and IPA is not this. So something to keep in mind, or don't, whatever. Question is, it's not a question, it's more of a command. It says, describe your dream car. Smells like an IPA. Run-of-the-mill, bog standard IPA. Nothing on the can that would lead me to conclude this is special for any particular reason. The can looks kind of cool if you're into deer. Ooh. That is very floral. It's got a good mouthfeel. Very apple juice-like. And not tart, though. The hops are bitter, but they're not tart, if that makes sense. There's no... It's not a green apple tart. It's more of a red apple sort of juice with some hops. It's pretty light. Easily drinkable. That hop note is just basic, though. I don't know. It's a well-made beer. It's just not for me. I'm going to give it a 5. Dream car. I want a car that doubles as a boat and a plane. I guess that triples. I like the air-conditioned seats. I like a good sound system. I want something that can get up to high speeds pretty fast. That 4-cylinder takes forever to go from a red light. I hate that shit. Otherwise, I like it spacious. I don't want it gargantuan. Honestly, to completely combat what I just said, I'd probably drive a truck if it were responsible. If it were the responsible thing to do. Next from Real Ale is their Vamonos Let's Gose. I thought it said I Vamonos at first, and then I realized it's just upside down exclamation mark. A tart, refreshing beer with lime and salt. So Gose, again, is a sour. Question, what sucks most about public schooling in the U.S.? Okay, this I'm excited about. Never had this. It smells like fucking Lucas salt when you open it up. It's got it's definitely lime. It's lime and salt like a motherfucker. Punches you right in the face. It almost smells fake. Like the candies you could eat. I don't know. The beer itself, looks like a beer. So, doesn't look like a poorly made beer. Let's taste it. So, it's fun. It's bright. It's not super sour. It's not overly sweet either. I'm not getting a ton of lime. It feels balanced when you first go to drink it without feeling sour. And then the aftertaste, American Pilsner beer, you know? Okay. Now I'm tasting a bit more of it may be the IPA throwing me off, because these are very powerful and the oil sticks around for a while. Yeah. The worst part about this is the aftertaste, because the aftertaste is that American beer thing that I don't like. If you love your gas station beers, your Keystones, your Budweisers, this will be up your alley. It's not terrible by any stretch of the imagination. I love how they managed to not be predictable, because you'd think this would be super sour. It's not. It's just nicely flavorful, the way that that salt would be. The Lucas salt. It's not deadly sour. It's not a fucking warhead you popped into your mouth. It's just a gentle go along with, put it on top of a basic beer. I'm going to say, let me taste it again. Problem is that upfront taste is a 7. That back end flavor is a 6. But if I'm drinking this, it's so drinkable that I'm going to keep drinking it. So I'm going to go with a 7. Again, not pouring out because I don't like it, but because I'm trying not to get too intoxicated as I record. Drink responsibly. What sucks most about public schooling in the U.S.? I have 2 takes. The reason is because you think of it from parent-child perspective, you think about it from teacher perspective, which I have to think about both because my wife is a teacher. As far as the teacher perspective goes, I really think they ask too much. You are a government employee, but you don't get the same benefits or the same pay equivalent to the work that you're putting in that you would get, say, if you were working printing money for the government. There are so many different classifications of government workers, and it's just sad. But teachers in general you can look at the statistics, they're vastly underpaid. Of the high school graduates that come out of the 4-year institutions, they make nowhere near what they should. And that's just the people who went to college. There are plenty of people who work in the public school system that don't have a degree that are being paid peanuts just because those people wanted to work with kids. They care, and they're being taken advantage of, and I fucking hate that. And the other thing I would say from the parent-student perspective is I think we've really fallen behind, not just the rest of the world, but in the categories of what we should be teaching. We don't teach life skills for the most part. There's a class called Life Skills. It's for handicapped children, but we don't teach, how to do your taxes, how to handle money when you grow up, what to expect when you're buying a home, how to get insurance, like all of the pitfalls and things you should know about life. Those are not taught in school. We're too busy teaching, history, which there's nothing wrong with history. I think it's worth knowing. It's just, we pay too much attention to so many other things. Sports takes a big chunk of attention and money, and it's where a lot of the school's fundings tend to go, especially in the smaller towns. We need to be teaching kids what it's like to live in the world, not just how to add and subtract. You feel me? I mean, you might go through your entire schooling soaking up facts about the scientific method, soaking up science facts. Like, you think about science, you think about, we know how to dissect a frog or what the body parts are or just little bitty pieces, but you don't think about the methodology behind it. What is science? There's not enough focus on that, and you can come out the other end not understanding how the world works. That's what school is for, and we're missing the mark. And next up is, who do we move on to here? Roughtail. Roughtail Brewing Company. I've never had a beer by Roughtail. And first up is an orange IPA. It's called Everything Rhymes with Orange IPA. Aren't you clever? Okay, this is from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Question is, which game has made you rage quit more than any other? This one smells almost identical to this one. I don't pick up orange. Maybe it's because there was a citrus hint here. I don't know. There's orange in it, though. I can see it. It's got that pulpy funk with no pulp. Obviously, it's like pulp-free orange juice mixed with an IPA. This one kicks up front, right? That first sip felt very hoppy. I could barely taste the orange. Every moment after, the orange is becoming more powerful. As I go to take another drink, that's what I'm getting the most of. It's nice. If you like orange, you're going to love this. If you hate IPA, this might be a way you could drink it. It doesn't really feel, it smells like an IPA still. Doesn't taste as much like an IPA after a second. Yeah, gonna go with a 7 on that one. So, if I'm being honest, the game I think of every time I think of rage quitting is Call of Duty Black Ops 2 from the PlayStation 3 era. Oh my damn. Like every time I thought I was getting better at something, and I was, start being stacked against players that were just way better than I was. And I think matchmaking was pretty random. It's just, you'd have really bad games. And I would rage quit. Next beer by Roughtail is called Frickin' Hazer Beams, which I'm guessing is a play on Austin Powers, because it looks like sharks with laser beams attached to their foreheads. If you don't understand that, I don't know how to help you. Watch more movies. It says it is approachable, lush, exotic. It is a pale ale, so just a step under IPA. Question: have you had any experience with love at first sight? You would think as somebody who's wearing a shirt that says dirty panty energy, the answer is probably no. Let's see. This smells like a coconut IPA. Throw that out there. I feel the hop bitterness. I don't taste it as much. What I'm tasting, like a light amount of pineapple juice and a lot of flavorless coconut oil. Like if somebody took a coconut tanning lotion and mixed it with pineapple juice and threw in the flowery hoppiness. That's where I'm at. It's just the pineapple is what comes through here, is what I'm getting at. Otherwise, it's pretty oily and has that slight flower kick. Very slight. It's pretty unique. If you love pineapple juice, I think you will enjoy this beer if you like beer even just a little bit. For me, I'm going to say 6. Love at first sight. That's tough. That's tough because people measure love differently, and I think you could classify love in a lot of different ways, but I feel like I have the handful of people that I've gone on to really feel a lot of genuine love for. I knew immediately when I saw them that they had that potential. You know, it's not to say that I realized straight away in every instance, this is somebody that is going to blow you away and really enhance the value that you feel in your own life, but you could see the potential. And I think that's because when we talk about romantic relationships, there's always a physical element to it, right? Unless you're just online, you know, never seeing anybody, in which case there's no sight. This is first sight. And I've definitely felt this person fits the physical bill. And you see things in the eyes and the mannerisms and everything else that it just makes somebody feel like home, like you instantly know them. And you're usually right about a lot of that. It can also be misleading, though. Yes, I've had experiences with love at first sight. Moving on to Santa Fe, New Mexico, right? Yep, New Mexico. I first had one of their beers on a train ride in Colorado. So, but you can find these all over the Southwest states. I really enjoyed what I've had from Santa Fe so far. This may be actually the first one I had. I think it was an IPA. Happy Camper sounds about right. This is the Happy Camper IPA from Santa Fe, which you'll always recognize the star. The question is it still possible to be original? This one claims to be hoppy, malty, perfectly balanced. A beer that says, I'm from New Mexico and I like good beer. Don't touch my motorcycle. And there's more words there, but I'm not going to read them. That just whatever. To each their own. Not a big motorcycle person. This smells subdued in a good way, and it is darker. So I'm anticipating the hop being subdued, the hop oil. I'm sure it will still be plenty flavorful because it's an IPA, but doesn't smell imperial. Just strong. Like it's hopped really well and brewed with darker grains. Oh yeah. So ignoring the India Pale Ale part of it, the grains that are in this beer are amazing. This tastes really, really good. And if you like hop or hops, that's, cherry on top. It's icing on the cake. This is all IPAs, in my opinion, they're going to fall apart as they get warm. I've not really given them any time to fall apart. They're still ice-ass cold. So it's presenting the way that something else should present, like a Stone. There's some others that we reviewed that they just came late, and I feel like we did them a disservice, but this is really good. And it's unique. If you had a big lineup of good IPAs, you would know this one once you've had it. It's got a sweet malt character to it that you don't typically find in IPAs. I'm going to give it an 8. It's weird the way things hang around in the mouth. I had a slice of pizza before coming to record, and my mouth tastes very garlicky. Mall pizza. I love. Anyway, I think it's plenty possible to still be original. I can be cynical about all sorts of things, but as far as originality goes, yeah, it's absolutely possible. You see it all the time. There are so many opportunities, and in fact, that's what keeps me awake most nights, is I see usually somebody doing something cool, and I want to do it in an original way. And I think that's what inspires the majority of us. You look at the lineage of inventions throughout society and throughout human history. It's all building on top of what somebody else has done. Is it still possible to start at ground zero and come up with a new theory of everything or whatever? Maybe. But if you're just realistic and you look at it as, this is what the world already has to offer, what can I bring to the table? There is so much left. So much left. I saw something online not long ago about a computer AI that was going to be capable of writing every song that could ever exist. What bullshit. Bullshit. So do your thing, create. Don't question that it's something that the world needs. You do it because you love it. And it is plenty possible to still be original. So even if you are doing something that is similar to what somebody else has done, so is everyone else on the planet. I promise you. Very few people find that niche that is so original that no one dares come at them with that argument. Some people still will too. Anyway, our last beer is the Imperial Javascout. Java Stout, I'm excited by that. Coffee and a really dark beer, which stouts tend to be sweeter as far as the dark beers go. I'm all about that. Imperial, that's a type of hop that is overly malty, in my opinion, the mouthfeel. This brewery has some strange descriptions on their beers. This thing is 8%. It's an ale with coffee beans. Simple, straightforward. The can just talks about coffee. It doesn't actually talk about the grains or the hops. It just talks about coffee. Question is, what's a reason you might move close to an active volcano? I had to have written that. I don't remember writing that. But my memory, like all memory, is flawed. It smells like coffee. You know when back in the day where you had the big glass coffee pot and the automatic machine would brew your mother's or your grandmother's coffee in the morning and it would get cold and you'd smell it sometimes, whether you had to do dishes or it was just in a cup somewhere. That's what this smells like. Cold ass, been sitting for a while coffee. I had the same experience trying to do a home brew with coffee. Coffee beans, from what I understand, they rot. Their flavor profile rots pretty fast under certain circumstances, and brewing would definitely be one of those circumstances. It's just not going to keep very long without getting super bitter, and suddenly you're tasting less of the coffee bean and more of the bitter note that comes from the rot of the main flavor profile. That's just the smell, though. I get nothing else, just coffee, and it's lightly carbonated. And because it's not well carbonated, it does just taste like black coffee. Maybe a baby amount of sugar in that stuff. A little bitty amount. It is super bitter in the aftertaste. Up front is just strong black coffee. And coffee that's not completely fresh. It doesn't taste bad. Think a brand new can of Folgers. You brewed the coffee, it sat for a few hours. That's what this is. It's exactly what this reminds me of. No specialty coffee, none of that, just Folgers. It's cold though, and I do like cold coffee. 4. I want to say 5, but it's just not a great beer. It's decent coffee. If you were rating coffee, you could say 5, but as far as beer goes, 4. And now we're moving close to a volcano. This is a strange question. A few things come to mind when I think of volcanoes. So they're the island volcanoes because that's what's building the island. I'd love to live on an island, so that seems cool. I'd at least love to vacation to islands more often, right? I've talked about somewhere before that I don't necessarily want to live on the ocean because I think watching water all the time would just get so old to me. But the other thing I think about is the supervolcano that's under Yellowstone. And the thing about that is one of the most beautiful places on the planet in that area of Wyoming and Montana. It's beautiful. So, I mean, yeah, supervolcano, cool. You know, you've got a chance of dying if it explodes. Not a chance, you're going to die, but I could see moving to those places just for the beauty. Assuming that the volcano is not going to explode. Not the beauty of the volcano, but the surrounding beauty. And I think that's all we have for you today. So this is kind of rough. As far as the IPAs go, though, we're talking 1, 2, 3. So the problem for Santa Fe is this coffee stout. And this was good. This was good. Who won? You decide. Run the numbers, whatever you got to do. Let's keep the conversation going in the comments, and we'll see you next time, same place, for another round of the Banter Bar. Farewell, beer snobs.
I'll just leave you a little sip in case you want to go back.
I appreciate the sip. I think I could drink quite a bit of this.
just want to see how it feels in my mouth.
I guess we'll see you next time.
On the Banter Bar.